Hey there, guys. We're going to start a new playlist. It's going to be Solar Power for Beginners, Solar Power 101. We're going to go over from the basics of joules, watts, and amperage, all the way up into what panels do, combiner boxes, why it's important to have it grounded on a combiner box, fused breakers in the combiner box, charge controllers, hybrid inverters. We're going to just go through a bunch of stuff here. But we're going to start out with this one. This is Solar Power for Beginners, watts, joules, and amps. Okay, so to start at the beginning, the way you measure electricity is joules are measured for right now. What something is taking to power right now to power a device. Okay, watts are what it takes to power that device over a 1 hour span. Amperage is another measurement. It is also measured in a 1 hour span. Okay, so the next thing we need to learn is AC power and DC power. DC power would be like what's in your car. When you put a C-size battery in a flashlight, that's DC power. Your watch on your arm is DC power. Your cell phone is DC power. All that stuff is DC power. It's called direct current. Okay. AC power is alternating current, and that is what is in your house. Okay. Now, in your house, every common house has two systems of AC power. It has a 110 volt range and a 240 volt range built into your electrical panel and then wired accordingly. Okay, so in your house, let's say your TV is 110 volts, your microwave 110 volts, a hair dryer 110 volts, all the outlets in your house 110 volts. Now 240 volts would be something like an oven. That's not gas powered, but an oven, an electric water heater should be, clothes dryer, those kind of devices that use a lot of power, electric wall cadet heaters, those should be, there are 110 ones, but they should be 240 volts for most of them. So a 240 volt dryer, let's say it takes, and I don't know the number off the top of my head, but let's say it takes 12 amps to run it. Okay, that's 12 amps per hour to run that dryer. So what that means is you can say, you can look at it this way. Let's take my phone and let's go 12 amps, right? Times, it's 240 volts. So you can go amps. There's two ways we can look at this. You can say watts times volts is an amp. Okay. Now, if you know the amp of a device, amperage, you can go the other way if you know the voltage. So we're going to do that. We're going to go 12 amps to run the dryer, and we're going to say it's 240 volts, so we're going to go 12 times 240 volts equals 2,880 watts. Okay. Now, if you could reverse that and go the other way, you could go 280 or 2,880 watts. Then you could divide it by 240, and you come up with 12 for amps. Okay, I hope I'm probably confusing the heck out of you here. So a joules, is what it takes to run something right now, that second. Watts are what it takes to run something for 1 hour. Amperage, and I don't really know why they have watts and amps. Well, all your breakers are broke down in amps. I don't know why they did that, but it is. So joules, watts, and then amps. Well, I guess you need amps because it differs on which voltage is. So your amps, no, it doesn't. So amps are your wattage times whatever voltage you're using. Okay, so it's not always 240 volts in your house. If you're talking about your TV, it's going to be 110 volts instead of 240. Now, if you're talking about a solar panel, those are all DC power. Like mine on my house are 48 volt. They range from 46 to 52 or something like that. So they all vary. But DC power. So basically, everything on your roof, a solar system, is DC power. The inverter then converts it to AC power. Okay, your batteries that are hooked up to it, DC power. So hopefully I've helped you there, because that part of electricity is the most confusing part, probably, of the whole thing. Learning AC power, DC power first. DC power is in your car, your watch, a flashlight, cell phone. AC power is alternating current, and it's what's in your house. Wattage and amps are the same thing for AC and DC power. Also are joules. But they're the same thing. It just, when you figure out the amps, you need to know how many volts you're working with. It could be 12 volts, 24 volts, 36 volts, 48 volts, 110 volts, 240 volts, 360 volts. So that all depends. Three-phase power is 360 volts. So it all depends on what you're looking at. Sorry if I confused you more. But if I didn't, hey, give me a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button. Get into the playlist. See what else we're working on. Next thing we'll probably work on we'll get up there and show you panels, solar panels, and go from there. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.